The first glass windows appeared in the era of the Roman Empire. At that time, it was considered an exceptional luxury and only very wealthy citizens could afford it. In the 14th century, the so-called moon glass came into being in France and later in Germany. The glass bubble was rolled out using a glass-blowing tube cut off and flattened on a stone slab. The result was a disc, slightly uneven and not very transparent. With the help of LED frames, entire windows were made from such moon glass, which became a characteristic feature of medieval and Renaissance interiors. Sheet glass was invented by Venetian craftsmen by rolling out a glass cylinder in the 16th century. However, it was too expensive and therefore unaffordable. Today, windows are present in any facility, and it is very difficult to imagine even a room without them. There are lots of varieties of windows which differ both in shape and in the materials from which they are made. Plastic or PVC windows are some of the most popular types of window designs at the moment. They have many advantages over other materials, such as wood or aluminum. Apparently, that's why they surround us everywhere, at work, home, in cafes, restaurants, and medical institutions. How are aluminum or plastic windows, doors, and walls manufactured? Let's find out in this episode of our program.
Процесс начинается с подачи чертежей.
The process begins when we receive drawings. It's the basis of what we are going to assemble. It indicates which type of material, reinforcement, and opening should be used in the slightest details. After ordering the material, the required items are brought to the workshop and the assembly begins. The assembly includes, first, the sewing of materials using the double-head cutting machine. The next step is reinforcement. We use reinforced or galvanized profiles, which are 1.5 to 2 millimeters thick, or thicker depending on the customer's request. The configuration also depends on which profiles we are using. It all begins with cutting. The profiles are cut to the desired size. Then, reinforcement is performed and drainage system is installed, after which the product is taken to the next workshop, where installation of bars and sashes, as well as soldering takes place, and the entire assembly process is completed. Glazing beads are also installed. All this is performed using machines of German and Turkish quality. The entire assembly process is automated, as a double-head cutting machine is used. The size can be set, and it cuts automatically. Everything, including soldering, is performed automatically. One just needs to press buttons. On average, we receive requests to make 40 to 50 items of standard windows. It takes one working day to complete the assembly of these windows and deliver them to the facility. If the order is received in the morning, we start preparing the material. It all starts with cutting up the material and ends with the output of the finished product. It takes an 8-hour working day to make 50 to 60 products, depending on the configuration and complexity, because windows may be different. We receive orders in advance, usually a week ahead. First, we do the planning. We purchase the fittings. We use the German ones. We buy the entire required amount of the material for the facility. We do this in advance. We perform calculations, and based on these estimates, we purchase the materials, and depending on the required quantity, we manufacture our products. Let's say there is a request to make 200 windows. The estimated demand for the facility is 40 windows per day. So we plan dividing the workload by days, eventually making 40 windows every day. If we need more, we do more. Our capacity allows us fulfilling large-scale requests. If we commit to satisfying larger orders where the customer urgently needs more windows, we have such an option as a second shift. Our staff members may work in 2 shifts if necessary. If there is no such necessity, then 4 or 5 people are quite capable of executing such orders. Our major consumers are construction companies. In most cases, these are real estate facilities and residential complexes. There is a strict inspection at the construction sites of residential compounds, as they have special engineering staff, foremen, and technical supervisors. Therefore, after the window is fully manufactured, before delivery, the technical control department performs inspection. Even after I perform the check, 2 more people carry out inspection after me. Only after that, we proceed with the delivery. We should always perform the internal check. If the window was delivered and installed at the facility with any kinds of faults, this will incur double expenses, which is not cost-effective neither to the workshop nor to the assembly team. Our windows are made in our workshop. During the manufacturing process, I supervise the operations. After that, when I take the item out to prepare it for shipment, 2 people from the technical control department come to check. They open the sash, look at how everything is fixed and how reinforcement is performed. There are special standards and norms. For example, frame reinforcement should be fixed every 25 to 30 centimeters. If there are violations, they indicate that. They examine how well the window sash is sealed. If it's too loose or too tight, those specialists also check it. They also inspect the size of the glazing beads, the proper operation of the strikers, and all the other parameters according to the drawings. They make sure all the mechanisms work well. After that, the window is delivered to the installation specialists who install the window. They have their own technical inspection. They check as well. They examine how well the window parts are installed, how the framework is foamed, and how many screws have been used. They verify that the drainage holes meet the technical requirements. Everything should meet the construction regulations.
Трудности они везде есть. Это производство всегда бывает. Бывает то, что может, допустим, где-то.
Difficulties may be encountered everywhere. In the course of manufacturing, something may go wrong at any time. If the equipment breaks down, we ask for repair works as we have a year-round maintenance. The equipment manufacturers conduct supervision from abroad. If something is unclear with our computerized machines, they provide guidance. In case of mechanical damages, yes, we face difficulties. These are not difficulties, but everyday routine. I would say so. Competitors are always there. We are improving every time. We have created the technical control department. We eliminate issues right away. It takes longer, but it makes a difference after installation. This ensures quality for consumers. Before the customer starts using the window, we fix the faults immediately here, and even if some issues arise afterwards, they will not be of such a scale that we would have to replace the window. A striker may be displaced, but it is a minor issue that can be easily fixed.
Цели, да, всегда есть. Совершенствовать свое производство, быть лучшими в городе, стремиться к тому, чтобы создавать лучшие, чтобы делать.
We always have goals to perfect our practices and to be the best in the city. We constantly strive to create the best and make high-quality products for the people. Our aim is to upgrade our skills as we are now manufacturing both plastic and aluminum windows. We make windows with various ways of opening. There are different project offers. If some projects are of interest for us, we take them up and make calculations. It all depends on the customers. We do not sit still as we always monitor our market. We have engineering and technical staff such as measurers, foremen, masters, and entire teams. What's good about our company is that everyone has been working here for a long time, for 4 to 5 years. The majority of them are installers. We don't recruit new staff. We have people who work for the company. It's an advantage because we trust them. Tomorrow, if something happens, they will be accountable for their work, so we'll be the workshop. Everyone is responsible, and if something goes wrong, everything is properly checked. Anyone can be trained. We provide training here as well. An untrained apprentice can be taught and fully trained. But at present, all our staff members are professionals.
Как работать, учатся резки этому. В данный момент сейчас у нас работает 4 человека и все мастера.
Some people who started as apprentices about 3 years ago are master-level professionals now. They learn to operate machines and perform cutting. At the moment, we have 4 people employed, and all of them are masters. Each of them has been working in this industry for a long time. The market is massive. Usually, we hire staff with work experience. As for employing an apprentice in order to train them here, it has never happened in my practice yet. But if we hire an apprentice, it takes 2 to 3 years to train them so that they could operate all machines. Overall, operating our equipment is not that difficult. Anyone can learn if they try hard enough. Only if the desire is there.
Было желание. Но в данный момент профиль, с которым мы работаем, он производится в Казахстане.
At the moment, the profiles we use are made in Kazakhstan. The plant is located in Astana. They manufacture profiles. Such plants operate in the cities of Astana and Almaty. I believe there are at least 2 of them in Almaty. The same is true for aluminum. All the profiles that we currently use are made in Kazakhstan. All of them are locally made. Metal we use is from Temirtau city. It is our domestic product as well. The fittings are from Germany. Currently, 100% of our profiles are made in Kazakhstan at local plants. For instance, these profiles right here are made in our country. Profiles may be of different classes. There are 3-chamber and 5-chamber profiles. The plant was constructed by the Germans. It was their branch. All the equipment and machines that we use are German-made. I think the human factor doesn't affect much if the raw materials are of high quality. The quality is the same. The composition of the profiles depends on the composition of the plastic and the ratio.
Пластик, сколько там соотношение. Если такое же соотношение, то я не вижу большой разницы. Я работал и с немецкими профилями, когда еще привозили немецкие.
If the ratio is the same, then I don't see much difference. I have used German, Russian, and Kazakh profiles. Basically, there are some differences, but they are insignificant. If we had an employee turnover, it meant that something didn't satisfy them. But since people have been working for 4 to 5 years, this suggests that there is no staff turnover here. Our employees work here because they earn well. Any person works in order to earn money. The same applies here. There is an interest to earn, time to perform, and something to learn. Some people join us because they are interested the same way I was interested. And they grow over time. If a staff member is interested, satisfied with the salary, and likes the job, they will not leave. Therefore, there is no staff turnover, and there is no need to hire new people.
Бывает иногда, допустим, когда приходит новый объект, мы работаем с большими объектами, поэтому заказы у нас есть. Мы работаем со строительными фирмами, поэтому есть заказы, есть над чем работать.
We work on large projects, so we usually have massive orders. We are constantly busy. We work with construction companies. Therefore, we have our usual scope of work, working on projects. We also work with private orders. Especially now, at the height of the season, we are never out of work. Of course, difficulties may happen anywhere, but our team understands that anything can happen. We just need to wait and everything will be right back on track, as they say. Of course, crisis may affect us or something else may happen, but we continue working. So many things affect us, including the government, the facilities, or the quality. We depend on the construction plan of the city as well. We always find a common language as we work for the client and perform the tasks that the customer asks for, regardless of whether it is a private client or a facility. There are windows of various price ranges. On some occasions, plastic windows are preferred. In other cases, aluminum windows may be favored, or wooden windows may be selected instead. It is a matter of taste. Some prefer windows made of wood because they say that wood is able to breathe, which is a stereotype that has existed in the people's minds since the Soviet times, despite the fact that there are ventilated systems, condensation channels, and all. They say wood is not chemical, although plastic is also eco-friendly. It is confirmed by papers, there are data on this, but tastes differ.
Разные. Допустим, у меня дома стоят пластиковые. У моего знакомого стоят деревянного. Это дело вкуса.
For example, I have plastic windows at home, but my friend has wooden ones. It's a matter of taste and product line, of course. There are aluminum windows as well. Recently, there has been a trend to install aluminum windows. There are new lines, as far as I know, they can be installed in residential facilities. Such window lines are on the rise, but it also depends on the price. In terms of production, new types of profiles emerged. Plastic, aluminum, or wooden windows don't take up much space. The glass in frames takes up more room. New types of double-glazed windows were created as well, including argon gas-filled windows. There are energy-saving, solar protective, and armored windows as well. There are triple and quadruple glazed windows up to 50 mm thick. Most of the window's space is taken by the glazing. There are plastic, PVC, and aluminum windows on the market. Therefore, there are multiple varieties of production lines. Previously, glazed windows were 24 or 32 mm thick, whereas now the thickness of the glazing may reach 46 or 52 mm.
Толщина пакетов, витражные системы. Много сейчас домов, балконы делают с алюминиевых витражей.
Presently, window walls are also an available option. In a lot of houses, they install aluminum window walls in their balconies. People usually ask me how to check a window. You know, I can say that people will notice the difference only if something is wrong. It's hard to tell by just taking a look at the window. Look, you can install a cheap window or an expensive window. It will differ in quality. Within the first year, you won't notice anything. Not a year, but the first 6 months. It all happens over time. If the frame is poorly assembled or the reinforcement went wrong, if there are no condensation channels, the fittings are installed incorrectly, or even worse, bad fittings. If everything is done incorrectly, then in 6 months, the window will deteriorate. There may be no reinforcement or poorly performed reinforcement. In some cases, windows may be filled with water. There were occasions when drainage holes weren't made and it caused issues. In other cases, the windows were simply deformed. Once a balcony door was literally swollen. Why did it happen? We removed the door, made holes, and water came out. There were no drainage holes. I'm not talking about the rubber seals, it's a minor detail. If we assemble a window, we screw drive the metal every 25 centimeters. Metal is a framework. Plastic is durable as well. If you screw drive it, doing everything right, the metal part will make the framework rigid. You won't see it in the first 6 months of use. 6 months later, you will notice it when the sash, which is constantly used, begins to deform. Or, as I said, the drainage holes may be made incorrectly or not made at all. As for the rubber seal, even if it's bad, it can always be replaced. It's not problematic to find a professional who is capable of replacing the rubber seal. Installation of a double-glazed window is also fixable. But if there is a problem with the framework, then it's a problem. The advice is to trust those companies that are accountable and provide guarantees, the ones that won't abandon you with your problem by providing no service or maintenance. You may overpay, but you will be confident for at least 5 to 7 years that you will have high-quality windows without any issues. I believe that being irritated because of a whistling window is not worth it.